you also need to make sure that you're adding enough value. You're creating a stickiness within their businesses, ensuring that the right experience is being delivered and farming them in a way that they continue to use your services in the long run.
Welcome back to another installment of the Next Gen Case Study series. On today's episode, we have Kashish Keswani, who is the Director of Sales and Business Development at Luminore, where he plays a key role in driving business growth through AI-powered business intelligence solutions. With over a decade of experience in sales, pre-sales, and business development, Kashish has honed his expertise in helping organizations leverage advanced analytics to make data-driven decisions. He has a strong background in managing cross-functional teams and executing global sales strategies, making him a leader in the field of business intelligence and AI integrations, which is why we're excited to have him on the show. Kashish, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks, Devin. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into some of the work that you're doing here with Luminore. But before we get too far in, Kashish, if you could maybe give us a couple of minutes on your background, who you are, where you came from, and how you landed as the Director of Sales at Luminore.
Sure. Thank you. So I think you already described me very well. I think I couldn't come up with the same good words as you use. So thanks for doing that already. But a bit background, I was brought up in India. And like everyone else, I also had that dream of selling to the Silicon Valley and selling to the large enterprises out there in the first world. So that's where picked up always, brought up seeing Steve Jobs, Bill Gates talking in the shows, and that was quite fascinating to land up in tech sales. So initially, was not really in the tech, but kind of made my way, started working for a few of the large organizations in India who were, part of the initial bubble of providing outsourcing services to the US. And that's where started working with Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra, and few such names there. And then eventually, with time, was fortunate to be part of the latest technologies that were coming in, and could just keep evaluating and understanding that what's the way forward to get into the SaaS, and eventually was able to get the break there. Recently, like fast forward few years, I think I'm right now in a challenging space where I'm positioning Luminore as a data analytics platform. We are in a SaaS space, and proudly helping organizations drive their data-driven operations. So we doing the entire data landscape combined and unified into a single solution that we position as a SaaS. So very excited, and that's how my journey looks like.
Wow, very colorful in terms of just all of the different places where you picked up experience along the way. I wonder, so how long have you been with Luminore now?
Okay, so that's interesting. So I've been with Luminore for almost 4 years now.
Mhm.
But there's a very good, interesting. But I was saying, right, I was in India, was selling from India for a while, and eventually, believe it or not, but there is a distance, right? It's different time zones altogether, so it's not really as easy, to work for the North America being there. So then eventually was able to prove my value within the organization and realize that it would be far better and a bigger game you can play when you're physically here. So now recently I moved to Michigan. It's been almost 2 quarters that I've been operating from the place and doing those discoveries and experiences firsthand being in the land. Yeah.
That's really cool because you have this unique experience now of being able to have different cultures that you have interacted with, and it probably gives you an advantage in terms of just how you can create messaging that really lands with the right people. So I'm curious, Kashish, how has your role evolved as you have spent more and more time with Luminore?
Mm-hmm. So initially, as I said, right, I joined, we were in a SaaS space, so was trying to focus more on the existing customers. And in the SaaS, we all know that customer experience, like giving a best customer success as a role becomes very crucial to ensure that there are right transitions, onboarding, ensuring that the right value is being delivered to the customers all the time. So I was initially in that role, but then we also realized that the other very important key metric in the SaaS is to ensure that there is new pipeline being created, right? You bringing new customers into the pipeline every single time. So
Mm.
when I was working very closely with the customers and understood what are the real problems that we are able to solve, I took a step away from farming and then started experiencing more and hunting into the market again. So that's the shift I've made internally, and it was amazing. I mean, it's always a new day, uh, talking about the old experiences to the new people, giving them that first-hand experience and onboarding them initially to get the flavor of what we have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So there's a couple of things there that I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into. So the first one is I picked up on your some of the initial challenges were kind of dialing in the messaging.
Okay.
Can you kind of walk me through your approach and how you like helped refine that the information and the message that you were sharing so that you could attract more people into the business?
Sure, sure. So I think it's interesting, right? I mean, with the way SaaS has evolved, and especially, I mean, even if we forget about the break in of Gen AI, which of course changed the entire game. But even
Hmm.
before, with a lot of companies coming into the SaaS play, I think delivering a better value based addiction became a lot more crucial, right? You cannot just be selling that everyone else is selling, and especially with so many, like, there are fun facts, right? I mean, people joke around that if you go and knock anybody in Silicon Valley, there might be a SaaS company within the house,
Hmm.
or and not only in Silicon Valley, even if you go to the tier 2 countries, even India for that matter, there are cities like Bangalore. Every third house you knock, there is a SaaS company within. so so that just changes, that how people perceive the businesses. And I think SaaS literally reached a point where it's at a perceived value that can be derived out of it is far more important, right? I mean, it's a cognitive horizon of the perceived value. More of, you can say that if a business is just delivering the services, that's not enough, right? You need to really create a value based addiction, saying that, yeah, okay, you don't have to stick with us, you can just pay for what you're going to consume, etc. But simultaneously, you also need to make sure that you're adding enough value, you're creating a stickiness within their businesses, ensuring that the right experience is being delivered, and farming them in a way that they continue to use your services in the long run.
Yeah, there's this, I'm really present to this need to add as much value as you can to differentiate yourself from the competition. And I'll use this as an example. There's a lot of, we'll call them white label CRM services that are out there. There's maybe, two or three that are at the top of the game. And then you have the companies who have spent their time developing, pipelines or automations or, snapshots or what have you to kind of bridge that gap between, okay, here's kind of a high level tool that's very, very complicated to create.
Mhm.
But if you take it and distill it down and make it simple and then provide that value to a very specific group of people, now you're differentiating yourself and you're making what you offer a little bit different.
Mhm.
With so many overlaps too, it's difficult to kind of navigate that. So I really get that challenge.
Yeah.
So what kind of inspired you then to shift from what I get a sense is like more inbound marketing to you mentioned that you're now going outbound and now you're looking to be a little bit more laser targeted. First of all, what inspired that shift? And then
Right.
second of all, kind of walk us through what your approach is in that avenue.
Mhm. Sure, sure. So, Devin, the reason, as I said, right, knowing that if you want to keep growing in the SaaS, your existing customers are not enough. Yeah, especially because the value add that you try to do from a SaaS perspective, it gradually grows. It's not a blink and you will just 10x that customer. So it always progresses very slow and in a steady speed. You keep showing the value, you keep adding the value, and to maintain that, you need to have a complete depth that is getting delivered from the delivery side, right? There's a
Mm.
as a customer experience, there is nothing much you can do. There is a specific growth which with an organization will go, and grow, and irrespective how much you get involved yourself, you cannot really create a lot of impact there. So the impact that you as a business can create is when you can replicate the same use case into 100 other organizations, and again get them a foot to the door, start that small, and then again multiplied with 1.5x speed, and then bring it to that automated pipeline. So
Right.
that's the strategy which everyone in the SaaS would like to play, and knowing that it's very important, very critical. We also transition into that space.
So there's a balancing act I'm hearing where on one hand, yeah, we need to kind of go horizontally, right? We need to
Yeah,
find more clients, but also let's not ignore the depth. Like we can go
yeah,
vertical with one client and offer
hmm,
many, many things. And as that happens, that
yeah.
horizontal kind of becomes, I guess, a natural part of the marketing. Is that what you're pointing at?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in a way, I mean, that's a very right way to put it across. And once you're working with a customer, and somebody is already onboarded into your SaaS space, that becomes a very good use case for you to start going and taking it to the other organizations, right? And especially in the SaaS, you always go with the standardization, because that's the real formula of scaling SaaS, right? You
Mm,
standardize something, you know that it's adding value, and that become a packaged or a bundled solution that can be taken by other organizations as well. And when you do not really investing a lot of amount in customizing and working very specifically, in a way it becomes easy to scale, and the price point also becomes easier. So if I'm building something and giving it to the one customer, probably the same infrastructure I'm able to leverage to give it to the other customers as well. So my cost reduces, and that's where I can also give that advantage to the customer, and eventually it's a win-win for both of us in that same ecosystem. So it works out very well.
right. Yep. That makes perfect sense. Okay,
Right.
so let's look a little bit forward then, Kashish. If you've kind of dabbled now on both sides of this, the inbound and the outbound, and now there's a lot, it makes a lot of sense in terms of the strategy and how you went to kind of deep and now you're going wide.
Okay.
So what are some of the key milestones that you're aiming at? Maybe, revenue or team size or number of clients. Like what sorts of metrics are you using to kind of determine whether or not your efforts are successful, and what are you aiming at?
Hmm. So, Devin, I think it's a very amazing question, I would say, and it's a because in SaaS you're always in that crossroad of standardization, as I was talking about, so you can copy and paste it everywhere else.
Hmm.
But with the fact that there is so much new solutions coming in every day, you can also not ignore the customization play that you need to play, right? The need of customization and standardization. You're always somewhere juggling between the two to ensure you investing the right amount of effort to scale what you already have achieved, and also being unique, and tapping to the right market, so that you're scaling in the new ways, and ensuring that you are competing against what's out there in the market. So we also try to ensure that we are trying to focus both of the areas, and both require different kind of metrics to gauge that, right? So if we have built a very strong use case, ensuring that it is standardized in a way that it can be templatized and given to the other customers. So that becomes one of the core competence for us, and in that we need to. I mean, the metrics which we do is take some good feedbacks. We have good positive testimonials. We also templatize for our campaigning perspectives as well, so the other organizations around it can also resonate. And we also ensure that whenever there is a good outreach and a good customer that we are able to tap into, and we are able to solve their problems, we are at least able to tap to the 5 different accounts in the same industry and same vertical, who we are able to start creating interest, right? So that also, like, we try to align in that direction to make sure we are able to do justice to the kind of initial investments and efforts that we try to put in. And then the second area is like the customization. So of course, with every new technology that comes in, and we ourselves being in the technology space, innovation is our key element, right? So if we are losing any customer, we want to make sure that it's not because of not having the latest technology enhancements, or the innovation was missing, or we were too late in the party. So that also becomes very crucial for us to make sure that we're not losing any customer because of not innovating at the right time or not taking the new capabilities that's out there with other SaaS systems.
Right. Okay. So then where are you at in terms of maybe revenue or number of clients right now, and what are you aiming at?
Okay. So, as an organization in the Luminore perspective, we have roughly around 50 existing customers that are utilizing Luminore today as we speak. The good part is we have really got some good successes, like the largest of the organizations who have adopted to our capabilities, and it becomes easier for us to start demonstrating the similar capabilities to the other organizations. So, one of the largest radio centers in the United States with 10,000 plus users are already using Luminore and tracking their day-to-day, use cases internally. We're working with large manufacturing companies. Their entire ERP is being managed. Their scrap management, their supply chain management, and all other use cases are also being derived. We're working with a few logistics companies, automotive giants. So we got some really good successes, and that's where we also look at from standardizing even a few large agrochemical organizations, etc. So we're trying to templatize in that way to ensure that the same use cases can be supported to other businesses, and we don't have to invest a lot of effort and money to build this competence, because we were able to deliver it in the long run and we already have it in place. And then from there we are generating more revenue and trying to tap in as well.
Yeah, those are some pretty big goals, and to take on the task of standardization in a very specific niche is also a huge challenge. I wonder what sorts of bottlenecks or friction you think you're going to face along the way.
So I think they say, right, your the best of your friends becomes your enemies eventually. Especially in the game, I think I see that probably generative AI, which we see today supporting a lot, can also start creating friction in a long run, because the fact is that that friend is not just your friend.
Hmm.
Everyone else in the in the market also have the same access to the same technology to work on and create another solutions, right? So even if we reduce or nullify the negative hallucination which Gen AI can do, if you look at the positive hallucinations, and innovation is not that difficult anymore, right? So the organizations with the bigger pockets can literally turn around an application in 3 days, right? Or a week they can come up with a competitor to something that you have invested months and years to excel. So I think the friend that we have, if it is being utilized by others and in a bigger capacities with bigger pockets, I mean it just takes away the niche which you were able to create very easily and very quickly.
Somebody once said to me, "This is the worst the technology is ever going to be."
Absolutely.
There's only one direction for it to go, which is
Yeah.
hopefully an improvement. And I'm really present to the idea that
Mhm.
the tool is only as good as the user, and as we get more comfortable and familiar with these tools, we're going to get better at using them. And so it's not necessarily that AI is going to replace us in the work that we're doing. It's going to be people who figure it out are going to replace those who don't.
Absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, there is no doubt about it, and AI is not there to replace us for sure. It's there to enable the development. What I'm saying is, even as a technology companies, it becomes a lot more easier to adopt to the Gen AI framework to launch new things in the market. So, whatever you as an as a old school organization think that you have created your niche by investing so much of time, effort, cost to start solving the problem, somebody with a bigger pocket and utilizing a new technology can replace it or replicate it in a day. That's the challenge I'm talking about. And we all know, right, the giants in the world who are already investing in these technologies, or the way they they change the game every single day. So it becomes difficult for the the booming businesses, or who try to play in a specific niche and try not to hamper anything else and try to create their own space in the world. That gets very difficult to cater to. with, especially when, bringing new solutions becomes a lot more easier with the Gen AI capabilities.
Yeah, and it creates a lot of opportunity too. I get that it's difficult to play against the Goliath, right? Like being David
Yeah.
against Goliath is a tough challenge, but
Yeah.
I think that that lends to the necessity for us to be a little bit more innovative and more personally creative. So that's really cool that you're kind of aiming at stuff like that. So to kind of wrap things up here, Kashish, as we come to the end of our time together, I wonder if there's any new trends or things that you're kind of particularly excited about, anything that's on the horizon for Luminore that you're aiming at, or anything in that way?
Sure. Thanks, Devin, for even asking that. I think as a sales and as a front facing person, when you see the market firsthand, what I've always realized is if you are able to kind of strategic blend, if you are able to cater or create that strategic blend between innovation, customer centricity, and operational excellence. I mean,
Mhm.
I know bit jazzy as words, but if you are able to ensure that you are as a solution innovating in a right way, ensuring and taking care of your customers in that capacity, and operationally there are no challenges to deliver it, I think you are in a sweet spot and able to scale towards the right direction. You're able to create a right impact that you need to do as a business. So my goal is to make sure that I'm juggling these three, like bringing the harmony in a way so that it's more comfortable to the audience that I'm trying to target.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love
Yeah.
that that's a part of what you're doing. The
Mhm.
you reminded me of it might seem corny or jazzy words, but Disney still has magical moments, and I'm telling
Of
you,
course.
their efforts are magical. And if you experience it, it that's what lends to a remarkable product or business. And who doesn't want people remarking about their business? I think that's a really powerful marketing engine. So, last one here, Kashish, if you had any advice for somebody who's out there kind of up to it, trying to build something for themselves, what would that advice be?
Hang in there. I think 80% of the businesses, the moment they are about, because you don't know how far you are from success. It's just that one additional day and one more call and one more pitch. I think just hang in there and just keep doing it. You will reach it. I mean, you cannot. And there's a way they say, right. The mostly the people who are successful are the ones who just not given up the last day. There's that one more chance that you have to keep taking. So please keep taking that. You are really building a great product or a great team and a great service. Just believe in it and hang in there.
Very powerful advice. If
Okay.
somebody wanted to reach out to you to pick your brain further or perhaps work with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I like that socially well connected way. So I think you can always connect with me on LinkedIn and we'll take the discussions forward. Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll make sure to link to that in the show notes so that anybody watching or listening can get in touch with you easily. And on that note, if you wanted to reach out to me and my team for any of your marketing or AI needs, you can visit nextgengrowth.com. Otherwise, that's it for this conversation. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you in the next.